Welcome to the May 19th, 2026 Disciplinary Petition Committee meeting. My name is Renee Barker, and today I am chairperson of the committee meeting. So I'd like to remind everyone present that the board is a consumer protection agency charged with administering and enforcing pharmacy law, where protection of the public is inconsistent with other interests sought to be promoted. The protection of the public shall be paramount. As I facilitate this meeting, I will announce when we are accepting public comment. I have advised the meeting moderator to allot 3 minutes to each individual providing comments. We will begin with public comments from individuals attending in person, followed by public comments by individuals participating in WebEx. This approach is necessary to facilitate this meeting. I did want to mention that at this time I've been updated that there are no members present in Sacramento, and then I will be updated in case anybody does show up. So this approach is necessary to facilitate the meeting. Before we get started, I'd like to ask staff moderating the meeting to provide general instructions.
This is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. When we reach public comment, you'll be given 3 minutes to speak with a 10-second warning, and we'll go in the order of comments received. To indicate that you would like to make a public comment, you will click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 at your device. And I believe that is it for my instructions.
Okay, thank you. I would now like to take a roll call to establish a quorum. Claudia Mercado.
Present.
Jay Newell.
Present.
Thank you. Maria Serpa.
Licensee member present.
Nicole Thibault.
Licensee member present.
And I am here, licensee member present. Thank you. A quorum of the committee is established. Before we move to the next agenda item, I would like to remind committee members participating via WebEx to please remain visible on camera throughout the open portion of today's meeting. Members, if you need to temporarily turn off your camera due to challenges with internet connectivity, please remember to announce the reason for your non-appearance when you turn off your camera. Thank you. Okay, so the next agenda item, public comment for items not on the agenda. We will now accept public comment for items not on the agenda. You are not required to identify yourself, but you may do so. I would like to remind everyone that the committee cannot take action on these items except to decide whether to place an item on a future agenda. Members, following review of the public comments for this agenda item, I will ask members to comment on what, if any, items should be placed on a future agenda. As a reminder, this agenda item is not intended to be a discussion, rather an opportunity for members of the committee and members of the public to request consideration of an item for future placement on an agenda, at which time discussion may occur. Let's see, since there are no members participating in Sacramento, we are ready for the public comment from individuals participating via WebEx.
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment for items not on the agenda, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see. So there's nothing to discuss. Was there any item that anything that the members would like to make a comment at this time? Nothing. Okay, great.
This is Nicole. Yeah, I wanted to suggest an item for a future full board meeting, or perhaps it goes to one of the committees. I'm hearing reports that some patients who get gender affirming are being turned away from pharmacies and not getting access. So I would like us to raise that issue and talk about it and find out what's going on.
Okay, sorry, I think you cut out, at least for me, just so patients coming for gender affirming care or med.
Healthcare. Yeah, gender affirming healthcare, transgender medicine most specifically, are getting turned away from pharmacies who are saying that they can't provide it. But here in this, that's not true. And here in the state of California, we have laws of such. So I'd like us to take up that issue.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think that sounds like a good item to discuss. Thank you. Anybody else? All right, so I think that's the end of agenda item 2. So agenda item 3, petitions for reinstatement of licensure, early termination of probation, or other modification of penalty. As included on the agenda, we will be considering petitions today. I would now like to turn the meeting over to Administrative Law Judge Patrice de Guzman Huber to preside over the hearing.
This is the moderator. Sorry to interrupt. It looks like we lost board member Newell. I don't know if we want to wait a couple minutes to see if he's able to rejoin, just because I know he needs to be a part of this portion of the meeting.
Yes.
Excuse me, could I jump in for a minute while we're waiting for board member Newell? This is Corinne Gartner, board counsel in the hearing room. Was I correct in understanding that there's a court reporter that's joined us today?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. And maybe this is a question for the ALJ, but did OAH arrange for the court reporter? And I'm only asking because we typically don't have court reporters on these petition hearings, because to my understanding, all of the petitioners have signed an agreement to electronic recording of the hearing that waives, the need for a court reporter transcript.
As I understand, OAH did arrange for a court reporter. I'm not, however, involved in arranging that, so I'm not sure what communications there may have been and why OAH ordered one, but I do see it in the file having been ordered.
So nobody knows why that was done when we typically don't do that?
I can't answer that for you. That would have been staff, and so if you'd like to contact staff, that would be probably your best bet at finding out. They don't tell me. I mean, that's beyond me. I don't make these arrangements.
Yeah, I have no further information on that either.
Okay, I mean, I just hate to waste your time because, like I said, we do have all the petitioners have signed an agreement to electronic recording. So it just, it seems unnecessary for you to be here, but I don't have the ability to figure out, who arranged for it.
Is it your suggestion or preference, counsel, to dispense with the court reporting and proceed with the WebEx recording?
I mean, like I said, we have executed agreements to electronic recording of hearing for all 4 petitioners. So they have all indicated that they're okay dispensing with, a court reporter and the need for a transcript. So yes, I don't think that we need it.
I'm happy to go with whatever this committee would prefer to do. However, Mr. Barnard has already been secured. So I think either way, I mean, he was on the clock today. So
yeah,
I'm happy to go either way.
And I guess, I would ask the members if they have a preference.
Maria, Corinne, this is Maria. Question, 2 questions. One is, does that mean that we would not do an electronic transcript, or that they could be not exactly the same, or which one would take precedence? And also, who pays for the court reporter?
Yeah, and I don't know the answer to that. What I would say is that, the agreement to electronic recording specifies that, the recording of the WebEx serves as the, memorialization of the hearing. And so it would be the electronic recording, not a written, transcript that we would be relying on.
So then it seems to me that it would be confusing to have two records and only one be the legal one.
I agree.
And also the cost, I'm sure that we'll have a little minor cost because his time is probably a minimum.
All right, so I'm looking at the request to set that was sent by the agency to OAH, and the box is checked for OAH to request a court reporter. So regardless of whatever the petitioners may have agreed to, this is the request to set that the court received.
I mean, all of that. I can say, I don't know.
An office may a request to set for. I apologize when they inform that there's so this is I apologize for that.
Thanks, Nicole.
sorry.
Do you agree that we have,
are we-
valid electronic recordings agreements for all the petitioners?
Yes.
Okay.
Agreements, and I think it would be confusing. So I would say that
Okay. That's my assessment as well. Thank you, Nicole.
So this is Renee. I'm sorry, but for Nicole Trauma, sorry, I was not hearing a lot of what you said. Is it just me, or were you all hearing her okay?
It was choppy for
Yeah.
me as well, just a little bit.
Okay.
cutting out on me now.
We can hear you in the hearing room, Nicole.
Okay. It's maybe me, and hopefully that'll end things.
Well, in this case, I'll go ahead and log off then. Let you proceed with the hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Barnard.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, so at this time, I think it seems we're turning the meeting over to the administrative law judge. So we'll need to close the webcast, the staff webcasting, and take a 10-minute, about 10 minutes break to allow for this to happen. Oh, actually, I guess, sorry, I think I'll read the section. It might make more sense. Sorry. I'd like to thank members of the agenda item.
Renee, I
What?
apologize. Let's proceed to the petitions, and after the petitions are heard, then we can transition to that.
I see. Sorry. Yes, got the. Okay. So I'd like to thank this agenda item 4, closed session. I'd like to thank members of the public for. Oh no, sorry.
So
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Renee.
jumping-
We're on agenda item 3, and so I think if you just turn the meeting over to the ALJ, we can proceed with the first petition.
There we go. Turning the meeting over to the ALJ. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, so we have four petitions on the agenda today. I'll just go in order that the way it is on the agenda. So we have Stacy Smoller.
This is the moderator. Give me 1 second while I get her promoted. All right.
Thank you.
And Stacy, can I get a quick mic and video check from you?
Hello, I'm here.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, there you are. Okay, and Dr. Smoller, thank you for joining us here today. Just a few housekeeping items before we officially get started with your case. Let me just confirm the first thing. Do you have an attorney for this proceeding?
I do not.
Okay, and you are aware that you could have retained an attorney to represent you today?
Yes.
Okay, and you are electing to go represent yourself, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, all right, so let me just go over some of your other rights in this proceeding. You have the right to call witnesses, to cross-examine any witnesses, there might not be any, to testify on your own behalf if you'd like to speak to the committee directly about what you'd like them to know about this case. You have the right to submit documents. As I understand, you've done that. Is there anything additional to what you've already submitted that you'd like the committee to see today?
No other evidence.
Okay, all right. Perfect. Okay, do you have any questions before we begin?
I don't think so.
Okay, let me go over kind of the sequence of events as well, so you know kind of where we are. Typically, in a petition like this, in a hearing like this, the petitioner, so the person making a request, has the responsibility to prove that they should get the thing that they're requesting. So ordinarily, if you watch other court, you'll see that the petitioner or the requester person goes first, because the person with that responsibility to make the proof goes first. However, in this case, I will ask Ms. Trauma, the Deputy Attorney General, to go first, kind of to give the committee an overview of your case and how we got here today, that now you're petitioning. So you will go second, Dr. Smoller, but just be aware that although you're going second, you still bear that burden, that responsibility to prove that you should get what you're asking for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, thank you for confirming that. Okay. Well, then let us get started. I know we're doing a recording, so I'll just go ahead and start. We are on the record before the Board of Pharmacy, Department of Consumer Affairs, in the matter of the petition for early termination of probation of Stacy Alexis Smoller. The agency case number is 7526, and the OAH case number is 2026050181. Today is May 19th, 2026. The time is 9:19 a.m. This is the date and time set for the hearing in this matter, and we are appearing by video conference. My name is Patrice Huber. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings, or OAH, and I am sitting with a quorum of the Disciplinary Petition Committee of the Board of Pharmacy. All right. Let me just officially take the appearance of Dr. Smoller. Would you introduce yourself, please, for the record?
My name is Dr. Stacy Alexis Muller.
Thank you so much. All right, so we've gone through your rights in this proceeding before we officially got started. Any questions, just any last minute questions on your mind before we get to the evidence?
I don't think so.
All right, thank you. As I stated before we officially got started, although you, Dr. Smoller, bear the burden of proving that you should get what you're asking for in this case, I will ask Ms. Trauma to present evidence first, and that is to give the committee a broad overview of your licensure and your case and what got you now to this point where you are seeking this petition for early termination of your probation. After Ms. Trauma is done, I will turn to you, Dr. Smoller, and you can speak to the committee directly if you'd like and explain any evidence that you may have brought for today. All right, so with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Trauma.
Deputy Attorney General Nicole, on behalf of the people of the state of California, Government Code Section 115. First, I'd like to for identification. We're here termination.
Just a moment, Ms. Trauma. I apologize for interrupting you. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I'm missing maybe every fifth word that you're saying. So it's choppy.
It's not just you. We're getting that in the hearing room as well.
Maybe I can fix. Apologies.
Of course, let's go off the record.
All right, this is the moderator. Looks like we got our Deputy Attorney General Nicole Trauma back. And Ms. Trauma, can I get a quick mic check from
Can you
you?
hear me okay?
Yeah,
Can
can
you
you
hear me
speak like,
okay?
yeah, can you do like a couple like sentences just to make sure that you aren't breaking up?
Yes. Yes. I'm here today on the petitions. Can you hear me? Audio coming in.
It sounds like it's cutting out just slightly, but it doesn't, at least in my opinion, doesn't sound as bad as it was earlier. Can I confirm with the board members and the ALJ if the audio sounds okay?
The audio doesn't sound okay overall. The moderator
Okay.
also is choppy. So I think it's something maybe internal.
Okay, I'm troubleshooting on my end. I have, are looking into it to see what the issue is. I've reconnected a couple times.
This is the moderator. I know it's not the preference, but turning off video can help with the audio connectivity. I don't know if maybe some of the audio can be turned or some of the videos can be turned off.
Does that seem to fix it at all? Is it coming in a little bit clearer, or is it still breaking up?
I think that's significantly better.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Ms. Trauma, for trying to troubleshoot that. We can proceed this way and see if it works out. Are you ready to go back on the record, Ms. Trauma?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're back on the record. And part of the interruption, Ms. Trauma, well, first let me say we took a brief break to address some technical difficulties with the audio on Ms. Trauma's end. That seems to have been resolved for now. And so we'll proceed in this manner and hopefully it will remain resolved. But I apologize, Ms. Trauma, I neglected to ask you to state your appearance. So if you would please state your appearance before you go into your presentation of the evidence, that would be great.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. I'm the Deputy Attorney General Nicole of the people of the state of California under Government Code Section 11522. I'd like to go ahead and provide a summary of the case, and then I'll mark for identification in the petition packet. This is an early underlying accusation alleged that petitioner's pharmacist unprofessional conduct involving moral turpitude, dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or corruption employer pharmacy, where she was the pharmacist in charge in November 2023. Her pharmacist license was revoked, revocation stayed, and the license was placed on probation for 3 years. Petitioner has been compliant with quarterly reporting, payment of the board costs in the amount of $3,500, payment of the probation monitor ethics course. Petitioner is she began in September of 2024.
Just a moment,
when
Ms.
she
Trauma. I
relocated.
apologize for the interruption. It's choppy again, and so it's, at least for me, it's hard for me to really hear what you're trying to tell us. Is it choppy for anybody else, or is it just me by chance? Okay, it appears to be choppy to a few other folks as well.
This is the moderator. Let me put up some instructions on the screen, and I apologize for our presenter. I'm going to take control of the slides real quick. I have some instructions on how to connect audio via phone, and that might help with some of the connectivity issues. Let's see.
Okay, let's go off the record to do that. Thank you.
Here we are.
Can I call phone and put that on speaker, mute my audio on the WebEx and appear?
You will also need to mute the sound on your computer as well. You could try calling in separately, and I can promote that up as your audio. Just press *3 on your, like when you call in, to raise your hand. That way I know it's you.
Apologies, this has never happened to me before.
All right, and Nicole, can I have you press *3 on your phone so I know which call-in user is you? All right, and then you should be able to unmute yourself by pressing *6. Okay, can you try speaking so I can make sure that I can hear you?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, but it sounds like maybe there might be some echo. You'll want to turn off the sound on your computer.
Okay. Can you hear me okay without an echo?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. And am I still choppy, or can you hear me okay as far as the flow of what I'm saying?
It sounds okay to me.
It's not choppy, Ms. Trauma, but if you could be closer to the microphone, I think that would help with the volume.
Got it.
All right, and Ms. Moderator, did you want to change the slide on the screen? I don't know if you intended to do that. All right. Let's go back on the record. Ms. Trauma, pardon the interruption again. We went off the record for a moment to address some technical difficulties, and Ms. Trauma is now calling in or using the audio on her phone, and that seems to be working fine. So let's hope it stays that way. Ms. Trauma, before it got really choppy, you were summarizing Dr. Smoller's performance on probation. If you would restart from that point, that would be helpful, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Effective December 20th, 2023, petitioner's pharmacist license was revoked. The revocation was stayed, and her license was placed on probation for 3 years. To date, she's been compliant with the quarterly reporting. She paid the cost in the amount of $3,500. She has paid the probation monitoring cost. She completed the ethics course that was completed February 11th, 2025. Petitioner is also required to be employed for at least 80 months. She began tolling in September of 2024 when she relocated to Illinois. She continues to toll until this date. Petitioner has now filed a petition for early termination of probation. Included with the petition are the following documents: 6 letters of recommendation, 5 were verified by board staff. She has also included in her petition packet various other documents And attached as Exhibit 1, which all of the board members have received, are the documents dates labeled AGO 001 through 153, a total of 153 pages. And included in that packet is the notice of hearing, the agreement to electronic recording of this hearing, the license history certification, the memorandum to the board, and the underlying decision and order. That redacted petition packet has been uploaded to Case Center per the instructions of the Office of Administrative Hearings, and petitioner has also been provided with a copy of it. At this time, we'll be requesting that it be marked as Exhibit 1 and admitted into evidence. But I do want to flag for the court one particular document at A42, which contains a medical record, which should be subject to a sealing order. Thank you.
All right, give me just one moment to turn to that particular page. Okay, and that was page A42, Ms. Trauma, you'd said?
That is correct. It is a medical record that relates to her son.
Okay, I see. All right, so let me turn to you, Dr. Smoller, first. Let me confirm, you have a copy of this packet, this Exhibit 1 that Ms. Trauma just described?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any objection to the committee considering this packet as part of the evidence in this case?
I don't.
Okay, so Exhibit 1 is admitted. And then let me ask you about this particular page A42 or page 42 in your packet, perhaps. Do you have any objection to my sealing from public disclosure this particular page that contains medical information?
I don't have an objection.
Okay, so then I will prepare an order sealing that particular page. Okay. Any other evidence that you'd like to present, Ms. Trauma?
No, Your Honor, it's now petitioner's opportunity.
Thank you. Now turning to you, Dr. Smoller, did you want to address the committee directly and tell them about your case?
Please.
Okay, so let me swear you in before you start so they can consider what you say to be testimony. Please raise your right hand when you're ready. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may put your hand down and please state and spell your full name for the record.
Stacy Smoller, STACY SMOLER.
All right, thank you, Dr. Smoller. So I'll permit you to testify in what we call a narrative format, which is really just tell us what's on your mind. Be aware, though, that the committee and I do have the packet, including what you have submitted. So there's no need to necessarily repeat anything that's already in there. But if you'd like to highlight some things, this would be the opportunity to do that. And to explain what may not have been captured in your documents, this would be the time to do that. And I want you to also be aware that after you have given your narrative testimony, folks will have an opportunity to ask you questions. And so I would start with Ms. Trauma after you're done and see if she has any questions for you. And then I will also turn to the committee to see if any of the committee members have questions for you. So just be aware of that when you finish. Do you have any questions before you start?
No, thank you.
All right, so whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Judge, Deputy Attorney General, and members of the committee for taking the time to allow me to bring my petition to your attention. My hope this morning is to prove to you my commitment to the changes I have made in my personal and professional life, provide some context to my prior actions, and to alleviate any concerns you may have with granting my petition so that I can be given the chance to continue providing care to my community safely and with integrity. In the summer of 2022, I had taken a leave of absence from Walmart in San Diego as I was struggling with postpartum depression. During that month off, my husband graduated from his medical residency and we moved to the Bay Area where he was to begin his first job as an attending physician. While moving, I had interviewed and received a new job within the company as the pharmacist in charge of a local Walmart store. I was completely overwhelmed with the new job and its duties, a new city in which we did not have any friends or family, and with my role as a first-time mom with a postpartum depression diagnosis. I felt immense pressure as the pharmacist in charge while managing my staff and keeping up with the demands of a large retail chain. I also admit I was struggling within my marriage, unable to rely on my husband for support throughout the infant stage of our son's life while he was meeting the grueling requirements of residency. I made the choice to relieve that stress by shoplifting, taking groceries and clothing from the store at which I was newly hired. While I knew it was wrong at the time, it provided me with the, albeit temporary, sense of control I was desperately seeking. In reality, it proved to be self-destructive behavior rather than therapeutic. This was a cry for help, and I never would have anticipated all of the consequences that have come about since I was caught. I truly believed the worst outcome at the time could potentially be a firing from Walmart. I never would have suspected a risk to my pharmacist license, as this did not occur inside the pharmacy. The greatest repercussion I have learned to come from this is the feeling of shame and indignity that have stuck with me ever since. Now that my secret is public information, I have lost the respect of my community and amongst my friends and family. While I would love to restore that feeling of admiration for being a role model and cornerstone of my community, I fear that is something I will never regain. Through probation, after reviewing courses on the subjects of ethics and anti-theft, I have been reflecting on my personal belief system and values. Some values I cherish include being a loving and caring wife, mother, daughter, and sister, a devoted and empathetic pharmacist, and a productive member of my community. It is a privilege to practice pharmacy, and one I don't take lightly. I am extremely remorseful and take full responsibility for my selfish actions and the harm they caused. Getting caught and the resulting action on my license was my wake-up call in realizing how much hurt I have caused. I only hope that even though I made a terrible mistake by disrespecting the law, it does not define who I am. Through therapy and coursework, I have delved into truly understanding the motivation and personal risk factors behind my wrongdoings. Not only that, I have taken responsibility for said actions and have vowed to avoid any future transgressions. Now that I'm fully aware of the repercussions, I have been completely deterred from making those same decisions ever again. While this realization has been upsetting to discover, it has also been used as motivation to learn better coping mechanisms. The shoplifting behavior was less related to criminal intent and more the result of my own personal struggle to manage troubling personal issues in my life. Having gone through even more hardships since the action taken on my license, I can acknowledge that I am handling things much more responsibly and ethically. Shortly after probation started, my father passed away unexpectedly, and my son was displaying some concerning behaviors, which we now know to be autism spectrum disorder and ADHD. Being around family during this time was my main reason for moving back home to Illinois when I did. I felt and feel that I need to be available for my elderly diabetic mother and that I need to rely on extended family and friends for support with my son. Also, learning that this was less about criminal intent and more considered to be a symptom of a problem, I felt encouraged to develop solutions and safeguards to avoid falling back into those behaviors. Boundaries and safeguards I'm putting in place include vowing not to have any more children and stopping breastfeeding, surrounding myself with the support of friends and family, and being selective with future pharmacist positions. I know I no longer wish to work for large corporations, full-time, surrounded by clothing and groceries, or as the pharmacist in charge. I realize I'm not in a position to be choosy about my next job, but for the safety of my community, I feel I must curate any future pharmacist role very carefully. I have not sat idly by since moving out of state, as I continue to take probation very seriously. I have completed each and every term outlined in the consent order as promptly as I possibly could have. The final item of working 80 hours a month as a pharmacist in California seems impossible for me to achieve as things currently stand. Though I have made arrangements for monitoring in Illinois by disclosing the action taken on my California license to the local state board. I have also worked to upgrade my qualifications and skills to practice safely in a conducive learning environment. This is shown by my work history, having worked as a compounding pharmacist during the probationary period, and by obtaining professional certifications and continuing education credits in the areas of ethics, well-being, and Spanish language. Over the last few years, I have matured and developed as an accountable, moral adult, committed to a long, successful, and responsible career in pharmacy. I appreciate the opportunity to petition for the early termination of probation, as I feel the needs of my family must be met right now. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity of a tolling process and to apply for this petition during said tolling period, and for giving me hope that I may continue to be monitored in Illinois.
Thank you, Dr. Smoller. Ms. Trauma, any questions?
Yes. Dr. Smoller, you had stolen over $5,000 worth of merchandise from Walmart. Is that correct?
I did admit to that dollar figure. I don't actually know if that's accurate. I believe they have evidence that I took much less than that, but that is the agreed upon number, yes.
Okay, and that was when you were the pharmacy manager at Walmart?
Right.
And none of that merchandise was from the pharmacy department, correct?
Correct.
And you never stole any kind of medication or pills from any pharmacy that you worked at?
Never.
Okay. And did you ever reimburse Walmart for the merchandise that you stole?
I offered to pay restitution, but they have not taken me up on that.
Okay. And were you ever arrested for stealing from Walmart?
I was not. They did submit a police report, but charges were never pressed.
Okay. But you do realize that you could have been arrested and charged criminally?
Yes.
Okay. When you had indicated in your opening statement that you had stolen some food and clothing, is that correct?
That's right.
And how long had you been stealing from Walmart at the time you got caught?
I don't know exactly, but certainly for weeks.
Okay. And how long did you work for Walmart in total?
3.5 years.
Okay. And were you stealing from them over that entire 3.5 year period, or was it only for a few months of that period?
I don't know exactly, but it certainly was not the entire 3.5 years.
Okay. And did you know that Walmart had cameras all over their stores?
Yes. Yes.
And knowing that, why would you risk your job to steal candy and food?
It wasn't really as conscientious. It wasn't as plotted as one might think. It's more of a release. It like at the time the pressure was just insurmountable, and this was just a release. I think it certainly wasn't a risk worth taking. I don't have a good understanding of, why at the time I felt that those risks outweighed the benefits.
Okay. Your provider at A23, this is Monica Broderick, had submitted a letter indicating that you have a diagnosis of kleptomania. Do you recall that letter?
I recall the letter.
Okay. When were you diagnosed with kleptomania?
To be honest, the first time hearing of that diagnosis was as I was reading the letter from that therapist. So I don't believe I have a formal diagnosis from any psychiatrist.
Okay. And had you stolen from other stores besides Walmart?
No.
Okay. And you don't think that, strike that. Do you believe that you have kleptomania?
I don't believe so. During some of the anti-theft courses, I have taken self-assessments and learned that it's actually not an addiction for me personally. So I sort of use that as motivation, knowing that, you know, to turn it off completely, and I've completely been deterred ever since. Like that is motivating for me to sort of make improvements to my life, my personal life and professional life.
Okay. After you were caught by Walmart in November of 2022, did you seek out any treatment?
I did. Right then, I sought individual therapy.
Okay. And have you been in therapy continuously since November of 2022?
Yes, not always with the same provider, but yes.
Okay. And I see you listed a few providers in your petition. It looks like you were treated first by Harry Polkinghorn from January of 2023 to approximately when?
Until we moved in 2024. So I believe it was a full year. So 2023 to 2024.
Okay. And according to Monica's letter, you saw her from April of 2024 through October of 2024?
That's right.
Okay. And then did you see Justin No in Illinois?
Yes.
And what was the time period that you were under his care?
So the fall of 2024 to the spring, I think he left the practice June-ish of 2025.
Okay. Did you include a packet or, sorry, a letter from Mr. No in your petition packet?
I did not. I requested one from him, but he was unwilling to write.
Okay. And now are you seeing Skylar?
I have a new, another new therapist since Skylar also left the practice.
Okay. So approximately when did you see Skylar?
So June of 2025, and she left, I believe it was January of 2026.
Okay. And you didn't submit a letter from her in your petition packet?
Same thing. I asked her for one, but she did not provide me with one.
Okay. And who are you seeing after Skylar?
I now am with a telehealth therapist. Can I have 1 second to look up her full name? Her full name is Brandy Northrup.
And how long have you been seeing Brandy?
Since January of 2026 to present.
Okay. And you didn't include a letter from her in your petition packet?
No, I submitted the packet in December of 2025, so I had not been seeing her at the time.
Okay. And how often are you receiving therapy from Brandy at this time?
At least 2 to 3 times a month.
And have you had any impulses to steal since you were caught by Walmart in November of 2022?
No.
In your statement, you said that you have put in place safeguards to prevent a repetition of stealing. What safeguards do you use in your daily life?
I think the primary thing I do is to prevent the stress from surmounting again, to avoid getting into the same mental space I was in. So, you know, being in Illinois, surrounded by friends and family, I feel more supported, and relying on therapists too if the stress does mount. I think that is the first step, and then in the workplace setting, like the last job I had at the compounding pharmacy, was a part-time position. It was, I was not surrounded by the tempting merchandise. I was not working for a large corporate chain. So being very selective in the pharmacist roles that I take, I think that is a big safeguard I put up as well.
Okay, you just mentioned the compounding pharmacy that you worked at. You worked at that pharmacy before you moved out of California, is that correct?
Yes.
So you were with them from approximately January of 2023 until you moved in August of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And was that the only employment in California since going on probation?
Yes.
Okay. Is that compounding pharmacy, is that a closed store pharmacy?
It's not. We do take walk-in customers.
Okay. Is there any side, like a retail side at all to that pharmacy?
A small one.
Okay. So did you choose to work in that type of setting so that you would have, less impulse to potentially steal clothing merchandise or candy or food?
Yes.
Okay. When you moved to Illinois in August of 2024, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that was roughly 8 or 9 months after you had started on the board's probationary program?
Yes.
And when you moved, did you intend that move to be a temporary move, or was that always intended to be a permanent move to Illinois?
It's definitely a long-term move. I don't want to fully eliminate the possibility of returning to California, but I don't have plans in the foreseeable future to return.
Got it. And you have a pharmacist license in Illinois, correct?
Correct.
And that is on probation right now because of this California case, is that right?
Yes.
And your probation in Illinois, that's similar to the probation that you have here in California?
There's no requirement for me to work a minimum number of hours. Really, the main stipulation is that the probationary period is permanent until my California probation is lifted.
Okay. So what specifically do you have to do for the Illinois board in order to, meet their requirements for their probation program?
Similar to California, I have to maintain knowledge and follow all laws, and I do have a monitoring officer who checks in with me.
Okay, so you do quarterly reporting there?
I don't. It's not laid out that formally. I just hear from him periodically.
Okay, and you mentioned there was no work requirement?
Correct.
Okay, so have you worked as a pharmacist in Illinois since moving back in August of 2024?
No, I have applied for some positions, and I was hired at a closed door pharmacy. However, that pharmacy is actually in the process of getting their California license to mail prescriptions to customers in California. And because of that, I had told them about the probationary status of my California license, so they chose not to hire me.
Okay, and you have looked for work as a pharmacist in Illinois, but you haven't gotten any opportunity to do that yet?
Right. I do feel like the job that I need to select or curate is very particular. So, and I know that I am not exactly in the position to be so choosy.
So when you say the job that you need to curate is very particular, what exactly do you mean by that?
Putting up those safeguards, like looking only for a part-time position or not with a big chain. Ideally with an independent pharmacy, without a large grocery section, that sort of thing.
And is that because you're worried that it might be a temptation to steal again?
Exactly.
Okay. In your statement, you talk about volunteering your time to multiple organizations. Do you spend quite a bit of time volunteering?
Yes, it's a commitment that I take very seriously. I still want to give back to my community, if it means I'm not working professionally.
Have you ever considered maybe volunteering any of your time utilizing your pharmacist license?
I have thought about it. There's one organization that I had looked into. I do believe, though, it's maybe, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I'm not supposed to volunteer as a pharmacist. I mean, at least in California, that was the case. I don't know if I'm allowed to volunteer in Illinois.
Okay, are there any restrictions about on your Illinois license that would make it so that you weren't allowed to volunteer?
Not on my Illinois license, but on my California license.
Okay. In your statement, you indicated that you were unable to meet the work requirement. So at the very least, you would like term 13 to be removed from your probation. Am I understanding that correctly?
I am pleading with the board if you do not allow for the early termination, if that term could be removed and I could, finish out the other terms. If we could remove the working requirement and I could finish all the others, then I would happily do that too.
Okay. Why do you think that there is a work requirement as part of your probation?
So that my performance and behavior can be monitored.
Okay. How do you think, or strike that, do you believe the board can effectively monitor that if you don't do the work requirement?
Well, I guess I hope that, making arrangements for the monitoring to be taken over by Illinois, I would hope that would suffice.
Okay. Are you aware that term 12 of your probation allows you to surrender your California license if you're unable to satisfy terms of your probation?
Yes, the attorneys that I've retained in Illinois have suggested that, similar to the mirroring of the action that California took on my license by placing me on probation, if I were to surrender my license in California or have it revoked, that Illinois would mirror that same decision and I would have to surrender or revoke the local license.
I see. You mentioned in your statement and in your testimony today that Illinois will restore your license there after California clears your license.
That's
Is that
my
a motivating? Oh, that's your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
And is the motivating factor here in having your probation terminated so that you can have a free and clear license in Illinois?
It's a step in that direction. I'm not hoping to, completely absolve myself of all my wrongdoings. I'm not trying to run away, I guess, from the responsibility.
Okay. You included a recommendation letter from John, a pharmacy technician. When was the last time that you worked with John?
John is, as a pharmacy technician, he is also the owner of the compounding pharmacy. So the last time I worked with him was August of 2024.
Okay. And you also included a letter from Haley, who is also a pharmacist. When was the last time you worked with Haley?
When I was working for Walmart in San Diego, so June of 2022.
Okay. And then you also included a letter from Caitlin, a pharmacy technician. When was the last time you worked with Caitlin?
June-ish or spring of 2022 at Walmart.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Trauma. Let me now turn to the committee. I'll just kind of go in order that I see it on my screen, but I'll start with Madam Chair, Dr. Barker. Any questions?
Hi, thank you. Yeah, thank you for your, testimony. I know it's not easy. So I just wanted to ask, continuing with your psychotherapy that you had in your letter and you've mentioned during the discussion today. So is that you kind of mentioned something like it could be 2 to 3 times a month? Is it like a something like regular that you are kind of committed to, or is it kind of as needed kind of basis, depending on other factors?
Sure, it is. Thank you for the question. It is a regular occurrence. I ideally would like to see her once a week. Sometimes the schedule doesn't always work out, but yes, I am committed to continuous therapy sessions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. That's all the questions that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Barker. Dr. Serpa, any questions?
Sorry, I was stuck from my computer. I apologize for the delay. Dr. Smoller, I'm glad you answered the question from the Deputy Attorney General regarding surrendering your California license. Can you explain to us how or what you've done to evaluate that? You said you spoke to an attorney. Have you spoken to the board at Illinois, or have you, what research have you done? What would happen to you if you were to surrender your California license? Could your Illinois license be in good standing?
Just having asked two different attorneys, their suggestion is that I would also have to surrender my Illinois license.
Thank you.
Thank
No
you,
further
Dr.
questions.
Serpa. Thank you. How about Mr. Newell? Any questions?
Yeah, one, Dr. Smoller, thank you for just being so candid and vulnerable. That's a lot to bear in front of everybody going through what you've gone through. So we definitely appreciate your willingness to be vulnerable. So I have a couple of questions, just trying to figure out how you're putting safeguards in place, because if you're saying that you don't actually have a formal diagnosis of kleptomania, which it looks like Monica Broderick said you do, that you're putting up safeguards against something that is what? Like, what are you putting up safeguards against? Is it just an urge that you're saying that's not actually the diagnosis? Or tell me, help me out.
Thank you. I guess I just don't want to be in this position again. I don't know. I don't believe it to be a true addiction. I don't believe that the diagnosis is accurate. But regardless, I want to put myself in the position, set myself up for success in the best way I can. So putting up the safeguards by surrounding myself with more support and being choosy about pharmacist roles, I think, just so I can avoid any possibility of a future slip up or transgression, I think is worth it for the community.
Okay. And I just want to clarify, kleptomania is not an addiction. It's a formal diagnosis. It has stages. And there's no shame in it. It is what it is, so I appreciate your willingness to, regardless, try to find a way to create some safeguards for yourself. I'm a little concerned just because, actually, I'm not. I think you adequately answered the question. It sounds like you actually, regardless of how you feel about it, you're willing to put in the work and put in the safeguards to make sure that there's not an issue. So I get it. No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Newell. How about Dr. Tebow? Any questions?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Smoller, so is Illinois a reciprocity state? Do you have to maintain or have had your California license to get your license there? And sorry, I should have started with, is California your primary license, and then did you get Illinois after you moved?
Thank you for the question. I was licensed in Illinois first. I do believe California is my primary state, though. But yes, I was licensed in Illinois first. It's not a reciprocal state.
Got it. Okay. And I don't know if you know this. This is just slightly just for my own curiosity. I don't know if the lawyers commented on this, but if you had at the beginning of this process, instead of getting probation had surrendered your California license, do you know if that would have impacted your Illinois license, or was that not explored?
I don't know 100%, but my suspicion, I guess, is that by voluntarily disclosing the status of my license to the Illinois board, that the decision would be duplicated or mirrored. So if I surrendered my license now or 4 years ago, I think the results would have been the same.
Would have been okay. Thank you for answering that. We appreciate you coming here today and being so candid with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thibault. And last but not least, Ms. Mercado, any questions?
No, I'm all set. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Dr. Smoller, is there anything else you'd like to add? Maybe some of the questions maybe jogged your memory. Is there anything that you want to highlight at this time?
Am I allowed to make my disclosing remark, or is that later?
That's fine. Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to thank you all again for your thoughtful consideration of my petition. I appreciate your time and efforts to protect the public. I hope you'll allow me the opportunity to continue practicing in a safe setting, upholding the moral, ethical, and legal standards of practices outlined in the oath I took as a pharmacist. Please consider my future so that I can continue to serve my community and make beneficial, impactful contributions to it. While I realize I haven't completed the final term of working and therefore being monitored in California, I hope I have proven I have exceeded the expectations of the remaining terms, completing everything as soon as I could and making arrangements for follow-up locally.
Thank you, Dr. Smoller. Ms. Trauma, any closing remarks on your end?
Yes, Your Honor. The work requirement provides the board an opportunity to monitor a probationer's practice to determine if they can perform the functions and duties of a pharmacist in a safe and competent manner. And in this case, the board was only able to observe petitioner working as a pharmacist for the 8 or so months between December of 2023 and August of 2024. And that is not enough time for the board to be able to make a determination that she can perform the duties in a safe and competent manner. By remaining in a told status, it allows a petitioner to avoid demonstrating competence and complying with the practice-related conditions that are meant to protect the public. So with this petition, she's seeking an exemption from that essential tolling requirement so that she can avoid complying with the work requirement. And to allow that type of exemption would deprive the board of its duty to monitor her while working, which is a matter of public protection. So considering her previous conduct while working as a pharmacist in charge and without any recent documented treatment efforts, it is in the best interest for the public for her to comply with the work requirements and that she be monitored while working. As additional factor against the granting of this petition, she's not worked as a pharmacist in Illinois despite having a license there. So there's really no measurement of her performance as a pharmacist for the last 2 years. And I do understand her desire to terminate early. However, it is the board's primary duty to protect the public. And even though she is currently living in Illinois, she could come back to California at any time. If her petition is granted, she would have an unrestricted license and could just pick up work and start working without any monitoring. And I don't think that that would be within the public's best interest. So for those reasons, the people submit that this petition should be denied. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Trauma. Now, in a moment, Dr. Smoller, I'm going to ask a technical question, which is whether the matter is submitted. Before I ask that, let me explain what it means first so you understand the question I'll be asking. When I ask whether the matter is submitted, I'm really asking you whether you think that you have had a full opportunity to present your case, present all of the evidence that would be helpful to you, and present all of the arguments that support your position. Does that explanation make sense, Dr. Smoller?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so let me ask it officially. Is the matter submitted?
Yes.
Thank you. And Ms. Trauma, is the matter submitted?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. With the matter being submitted, the record is closed. What that means, Dr. Smoller, is that the committee will not be receiving any additional documents from this point on. It should have everything that it needs to make a decision in this matter. And that final decision will issue at some point after today. So it won't be today. The committee will convene in a closed session to deliberate on what to do with your petition, and a final written decision will be issued at some point after. Thank you for your time. And with that, we are off the record. All right, thank you, Dr. Smoller.
Thank you.
All right, should we, is it a good time for a break? I'm not sure if the committee members would like a break before we move on to the next petition. Turn it back over to you, Madam Chair, Dr. Barker. Let me know.
Hello. Maybe unless there's any requests that we maybe continue on with the next petitioner, and then we'll see what time it is after the break after that.
That's fine by me. All right, the next petition on the agenda is Lola Bay. I hope I'm saying that right.
All right, this is a moderator. Lola Bay, I have promoted you up to a panelist. Can I please have you do a microphone and camera check?
Hi, can you hear me?
All right. Yes, we can hear you and we can see you.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Bay, please correct me if I'm not saying your last name correctly. How do you say it?
You are. It's Lola Bay.
Okay. Thank you for confirming that. Okay, Dr. Bay, before we officially get started, just want to confirm a few things with you. First, it looks like you're appearing by yourself. You don't have an attorney for today, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and I just want to make sure you were aware that you could have hired an attorney for this proceeding, yes?
Correct.
Okay, and you've chosen to represent yourself today?
Yes.
Okay, and that's perfectly fine. Is there any additional document that you would like the committee to consider apart from what you've already submitted?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you for confirming that as well. And the last thing maybe is, do you intend to speak to the committee directly to explain your petition?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right. If everybody's ready, let's go ahead and get started. We are on the record before the Board of Pharmacy, Department of Consumer Affairs in the matter of the petition for early termination of probation of Lola Bay. The agency case number is 7344 and the OAH case number is 2026050189. Today is May 19th, 2026. The time is 10:17 a.m. This is the date and time set for the hearing in this matter, and we are appearing by video conference. My name is Patrice Huber. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings, or OAH, and I have been assigned to sit with the committee of this board today, and I am sitting with a quorum of that committee. All right, at this time, I'll take the appearances of the parties, and I'll start with Ms. Trauma.
Good morning, Deputy Attorney General Nicole Trauma, appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California under Government Code Section 11522.
Thank you, Ms. Trauma. And Dr. Bay, I know we had informal introductions just a moment ago, but for the record, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Lola Bay.
All right, thank you so much. Now, Dr. Bay, let me explain kind of the sequence of events for the hearing. But first, fundamentally, let me explain that we are here on a hearing on your petition. And what that means is you are seeking something, right, from the board. You're asking for something. And ordinarily in a hearing, when there's a request such as yours, the person making the request goes first in presenting the evidence. And that's because that person has the responsibility to prove that they should get whatever it is that they're asking for. However, in this hearing, I will ask Ms. Trauma to present first. And that is really to give the committee and me the background and kind of an overview of your licensure so far and what got you to this point now that you have filed this petition. So you will go second after Ms. Trauma, Dr. Bay. But I want you to be aware that although you're going second, you still have that responsibility to prove that you should get what you are seeking today. Does that make sense, Doctor?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Trauma. Go ahead.
Thank you. We're here today on a petition for early termination of probation. The underlying accusation alleged that petitioner's pharmacist license was subject to discipline following her May 13th, 2022 conviction for driving under the influence of alcohol and driving with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08% or more, with an enhancement for a blood alcohol concentration above 0.15%. The underlying circumstances are that on March 13th, 2022, she was observed making an illegal U-turn, nearly struck a median, and displayed visible signs of intoxication. She admitted to drinking vodka and produced breath test results of a 0.189 and 0.200 blood alcohol content. She was placed on 3 years of informal probation by the criminal court in order to complete the first offender DUI program. Effective December 6, 2023, her pharmacist license was revoked, the revocation stayed, and she was placed on probation for 4 years. To date, petitioner has been compliant with quarterly reporting, payment of the board costs in the amount of $2,500, payment of probation monitoring costs, prescription coordination and monitoring of prescription use, submitting to worksite monitor, community service program, and submitting criminal probation parole reports. Petitioner is also required to submit to drug and alcohol testing. Petitioner had 4 missed check-ins on March 3rd, 2025, July 15th, 2025, March 1st, 2026, and March 18th, 2026. Petitioner has now filed a petition for early termination of probation. Included with the petition were 9 letters of recommendation, all verified by board staff. She also submitted some written responses to the board, information relating to an alcohol use disorder presentation that she provides to students at Concord Career College, and CE transcripts. Exhibit 1 is the petition packet, which includes all of those documents, as well as the notice of hearing, the agreement to electronic recording, license history certification, the memorandum to the board, and the underlying decision and order. The board members and petitioner have all been provided the same set of documents. The redacted petition packet has been uploaded to Case Center, and the entire packet is base labeled AGO 001 through 070, a total of 70 pages. And at this time, we'll request that be marked and admitted into evidence.
Thank you, Ms. Trauma. Dr. Bay, let me just confirm, you have a copy of this packet that Ms. Trauma just described, is that right?
Yes, I did receive it.
Okay, and have you had a chance to review the packet?
I did.
Okay, do you have any objection to the committee considering this packet as part of the evidence in this case?
No.
All right, thank you. Exhibit 1 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's now petitioner's opportunity.
All right, thank you, Ms. Trauma. All right, Dr. Bay, did you, and you confirmed before we officially started that you wanted to speak to the committee directly, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me swear you in so we can consider what you say to be testimony. Please raise your right hand when you're ready. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Please state and spell your full name for the record.
Lola Bay, spelled Lola, last name Bae.
Thank you, Dr. Bay. So I'll permit you to testify in what's called a narrative format or fashion, which is kind of just tell us what's on your mind. We won't be getting any questions during your presentation here. Just tell us what you think would be helpful to know with regard to your petition. Be aware that the committee does have the petition packet, and so there's no need to repeat necessarily what's already contained in the packet. But if you would like to highlight any portion of it or explain further something that was mentioned in there, this would be the opportunity to do that. I would also like you to be aware that you might get some questions afterward. So I would start with Ms. Trauma. She may have some questions for you. And then I'm going to turn to the committee members in case other folks have questions. So just be prepared to get some questions afterward. Does that make sense, Dr. Bay?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Whenever you're ready, please go ahead and start.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the board, Your Honor, and Deputy Attorney General. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm here today to speak about my rehabilitation journey and the steps I've taken towards sobriety, accountability, and personal growth following my DUI. My DUI was one of the biggest wake-up calls of my life. It forced me to reflect on my decisions, my lifestyle, and the kind of person and professional I want to become moving forward. I fully take responsibility for my actions. Driving under the influence was a poor and unsafe decision, and I understand the seriousness of the risk I created. There is no excuse for that. Since then, I've made a genuine commitment to improving myself and maintaining my sobriety. I've remained abstinent from alcohol, attended AA meetings and medical professional support group meetings focused on healthier routines through exercise, and built stronger support systems and accountability in my life. These efforts have strengthened my commitment to long-term sobriety and helped me grow personally and professionally. When I began probation with the board, I accepted all of the terms seriously. I did have a few missed check-ins, which I take full responsibility for, and that experience reinforced the importance of consistency and accountability, and I've since put systems in place to stay organized and compliant moving forward. Although I was not eligible for the pharmacist recovery program, I chose to continue attending medical professional support group meetings because they've helped me continue growing and maintain perspective throughout my recovery. I also provide alcohol use disorder presentations to students at Concord Career College, and being able to share my experience and educate others has been a meaningful part of my growth and continues to reinforce the importance of the choices I make moving forward. After my DUI, I also experienced the loss of my brother after spending several months helping care for him following a serious car accident. Going through that experience gave me a deeper perspective on how quickly lives and families can be permanently affected by one poor decision. It not only reinforced the seriousness of my own actions, but also led me to reflect more deeply on the consequences of my choices and strengthen my commitment to making better decisions moving forward. All in all, these experiences have changed my perspective and helped me become more mindful, accountable, and intentional in both my personal life and my role as a pharmacist. I understand the importance of public safety and the responsibility that comes with being entrusted to care for patients. And I recognize the growth and insight I've gained through this experience, and I remain committed to maintaining my sobriety and continuing to practice safely, responsibly, and ethically. And that is why I'm here to respectfully ask the board to grant my request for early termination. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bay. Ms. Trauma, any questions?
Yeah. Now, as part of your probation, you're required to submit to testing. Is that correct?
Sorry, I missed. I think you broke up a little bit.
Oh, it's no problem. I'll restate my question. As part of your probation, you're required to submit to testing.
Yes.
Okay. And when you first started probation, were you provided with any materials on how to check in for testing?
Yes.
And is that a daily check-in?
Yes, it is a daily check-in through Vault.
Okay. Do you log into that program every morning by a certain time?
Yes, so the check-in time falls between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. And I put my alarm at different times of the day. So as soon as my alarm goes off, I check before I leave my room.
Okay. And how long is that process, the logging in to check in?
It's quick. It should take no longer than a minute or two.
Okay. And you've had to do that since December of 2023 when you first started probation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So usually I see missed check-ins happen early in probation when the probationer is first starting to get used to this kind of morning ritual. But in your case, you didn't have any missed check-ins from December of 2023 until March of 2025. Is that right?
Yes.
So why do you think it started happening so late in your probation?
I believe it happened, for context, my mom was facing health challenges too, and I guess more my personal responsibilities were growing, and that's why some of these were missed. Um, but the most recent ones, it was due to increasing work demands. There's a lot of changes going on at work. Um, the ones in March, basically, I think as I was checking in, I usually have to refresh the screen to log on, and I backspaced, and it took me to an error page, and I didn't know that I backspaced into it, and I kept giving me an error page, and I had to go to work, and it unfortunately got missed when I was supposed to check later on. And with the most recent one, which was in the same month, I was training, I was heavily focused on training a new per diem pharmacist who just came on board and who needed very close supervision. And I got consumed in that, and it was missed on my
And
end.
were you issued a notice of probation violation for that most recent check-in?
Yes, I was. And I put multiple safeguards in place. I actually went out that day to get 2 physical calendars, one in my bathroom, one in my bedroom wall. And I actually have to physically check it off on my calendar on the days every day to check whether I do or do not have a urine test. And that's been
Okay.
helping me.
Were you selected to test on any of the check-in days that you missed?
I would not know because I followed up the following day or the day of, and it was too late to check that. But on the second missed one, I actually it showed that I logged on to the website, and I believed I checked in, but I didn't take a screenshot at that time. And I notified the Board of Pharmacy and Vault, like, hey, uh, is this something that happens? Because I'm pretty sure I checked in, and Vault told me that they had few people tell them about that, so they recorded it on their end, and I also notified Julie with the Board of Pharmacy.
Okay. Have you ever been notified by the Board of Pharmacy that you missed a date, like missed an actual testing date that you were selected to test?
Oh, no.
Okay. And
Sorry, I
you've
didn't
never had
understand.
so just to clarify, you've never been notified that you had missed an actual test that you were supposed to submit to.
Right.
Okay.
No, I did
And you've
not.
never had any positive test results, correct?
No, I did not ever have a positive result. I had one test where it came out inconclusive, and maybe because I didn't eat enough that day, but that was the only time. I
Okay.
never got an email regarding a positive test at all.
And you were required to attend some support groups, is that correct?
Yes, so I do in the beginning while I was waiting to see if I was deemed eligible for the pharmacist recovery program. It was called Maximus at that time. I think now it's called Premier. While I was waiting, I attended AA meetings every day for 2 months, I believe, and also attended another medical professional support group meeting where where it consisted of healthcare professionals. I attended that twice a week for that time. And then after that, I was deemed ineligible for the PRP program. And uh, when I met with my Board of Pharmacy inspector, she said my terms are to attend AA meetings once a week, which I did. Sometimes I went more. And I voluntarily decided to continue the medical professional care group because I found value in attending those groups where I can share our probation journey together as healthcare professionals, because I found that I was able to relate and share and see how like other people face their probation and their challenges, and um, share our recovery tools together.
Okay. And I want to back up. You said that you were
Mhm.
deemed ineligible to participate in the pharmacist recovery program, the PRP.
No, I participated in the medical professional support group, which is called the Pacific Assistance Group,
Okay.
led by Marcia. Mhm.
So I'm going to ask you about the pharmacist recovery program, or PRP, the one that you indicated used to be run by Maximus, now by Premier. You were assessed by the PRP program, correct?
Yes,
And they deemed you clinically inappropriate for the program. Is that correct?
correct.
Do you know why you were deemed clinically inappropriate for the program?
I met with two different psychologists. I didn't talk to them after regarding the result, but I heard from the person that was facilitating the Maximus. They called me and said I was deemed ineligible because it shows that like I am not a true alcoholic. So they deem me ineligible for that.
Oh, got it. Have you had any alcoholic beverages since your arrest?
No,
And do you identify as an alcoholic?
no, I do not.
And is it your plan to continue to be sober if your probation is terminated?
Yes, I do plan to continue my sobriety and my recovery, regardless of whether I do get granted this early termination or if my probation ends. Just because a lot of this experience as a whole, it played a big impact in my life. Yes, it was an isolated event for me, but it was a huge turning point. And with other life incidents that I went through with my brother and seeing my mom going through her health issues, I truly believe that time is everything. And I don't want to live my life making these poor decisions. I do want to be the best version of myself.
Okay, so what is your plan then to ensure that you're going to maintain sobriety?
I'm going to continue exercising, which has been helping me mentally and physically and emotionally as well. That's how I manage stress. And I want to continue doing these presentations. I actually give the alcohol use disorder presentations twice a year. But after doing them enough times, the instructor actually asked me, even after my probation ends, if I can come regularly to share my story and my perspective before they have their alcohol use disorder class, I guess. So I think it's rewarding for me. I was able to change my own difficult experience, and I was able to use my own difficult experience and use that as a positive, constructive way towards others. So I do want to do that, exercise, and also just continue on with ongoing self-reflection. And I see it with my family every day. So
You had mentioned those presentations that you provide. Those are not required by your probation, correct?
it is required 2 times a year. Um, it's something that my lawyer at first in the beginning, he said, what kind of community service would you be willing to do? And this is something I thought of. Not having the most confidence in speech, I did gain more confidence in sharing my story and giving that educational content. I think it's nice to see how students are able to relate to my real life experiences.
Okay. And you've completed all of the requirements of your criminal probation. That's completed, correct?
Correct.
And you haven't had any tolling during your probation. You've been working the entire time.
Yes, I do work full time. Minimum 80 hours, of course, because that's part of my probation terms. But I do work full time, 40 hours a
Okay.
week.
So why do you want to be released from probation early?
I'm requesting early termination because I genuinely want the opportunity to continue growing professionally and broaden my experience as a pharmacist. And my long-term goal is to become a more well-rounded and resourceful pharmacist with stronger clinical knowledge across different areas. I'm interested in hospital-based areas such as like pediatrics, NICU, oncology, ER. And in the past few months, I did actually pursue applying and attended some interviews. And because I want to get to, even though I'm on probation, I do want to make the effort to try. And even though I understand that there are different contributing factors to hiring decision in the hiring decision, I do believe that my current probation restrictions may create limitations um, and make some opportunities more difficult for me to pursue.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Trauma. Let me now turn to the committee. Dr. Barker, any questions?
Hello, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bay, for coming before the board. I know it's not easy. So I did have a question. So I'm just kind of understanding from the conversation. So for the PRP program, they kind of deemed you, I think these were your words, ineligible, that you're not a true alcoholic and you don't identify as an alcoholic. So, but I guess, but you also plan to be sober. And I'm wondering, right now you had, well, you are going, let's see, from reading the packet, you're joining in on weekly AA meetings, but which is required, but you're also going to the weekly Pacific Assistance Group, which is voluntary, and you've continued that. That's correct, right?
So weekly AA meetings, yes. And for the medical professional group meeting, I'm going once a month, and sometimes I go more. She just sends me an invite every week if I want to join, and sometimes I have joined more times than once.
I see. Okay. So then you don't consider yourself as being true alcoholic, so you don't have like a sobriety date. Is that correct? Or do you have one?
I guess the my DUI date would be my sobriety date. I don't drink at home. I don't commonly drink like weekly or monthly. It's solely like for social events. And at that time, when that happened, I think we're still going through COVID towards the end. And I haven't gone out for a really long time. It was just that one isolated event where this occurred.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you, Dr. Barker. Dr. Serpa, any questions?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Bay, I wanted you to speak a little bit more on the missed call-in dates. What your thoughts were, your feelings at the time, specifically the 2 dates in March, since that was just a few months ago. You probably remember that a great deal since there were two recent and on the same month. Walk us through your feelings at the time and what happened when you recognized that you had missed the call-in.
Yes, I wasn't too happy when I realized that I missed both check-ins, especially the last one because it was back to back. And also knowing that I'm applying for early termination, I know that's not a good look at all. So I was feeling a little upset, but it's not something I can take back. So I just did the best I could by putting those safeguards in, by getting those calendars, making sure that this does not happen again. And I know work or life may demand more at you at times, but I know that this is my probation is a priority for me, and I do need to stick with it. And so that was the lesson that I learned.
Just a follow-up then too, because as pharmacists, we are a very big stickler for details. Precision is very important. Why do you think you didn't have those same thoughts and feelings about yourself that you have for your patients? I'm sure you're very precise with your patients. Why do you feel like you let yourself down?
I think I had I was trying to put my responsibilities all in place and prioritize them the best I could, and that's where I fell short. I had the few alarms that I had on my watch, but I was so honed in on what I was doing, and that's how it got missed. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Serpa. Mr. Newell, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Tebow, any questions?
No additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Mercado, any questions?
Yes, just, it seems to me that you really enjoy what you do. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You mentioned you're looking for new opportunities, but after this is behind you, how do you see it? Do you see yourself improving the pharmacy world with your ability to create positive change?
I really want to be at a place where I have the opportunity to learn in different areas. I'm very interested in like the other specialties that I mentioned, like pediatrics, NICU, like ER, oncology. I really want to be a well-rounded pharmacist where I have a strong base, fundamental and clinical knowledge where I can help patients with complex medication regimens and medical history. So I want to push myself to get to the point where I can be flexible in those areas, and that's where I want to be in the next 5 years, hopefully.
Great. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mercado. All right, Dr. Bay, is there anything additional that you'd like to say to the committee while you have their attention?
I do have a closing statement, if I can.
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Thank you again for your time and consideration today. This experience has taught me a great deal about accountability, self-awareness, and the importance of making responsible choices. And since my DUI, I've worked hard to maintain my sobriety, strengthen my support system, and continue growing both personally and professionally. And through recovery meetings, self-reflection, exercise, and community education, I've developed healthier coping mechanisms and a stronger foundation moving forward. I understand that rebuilding trust takes time and consistent actions, and I believe my continued sobriety and efforts reflect the progress I've made over the past several years. I remain fully committed to maintaining my recovery and continuing to practice safely, responsibly, and ethically as a pharmacist. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bay. Ms. Trauma, any closing remarks?
Yes, Your Honor. Petitioner has been on probation for over 2.5 years of a 4-year term. She's had no tolling issues, has been gainfully employed, appears to take responsibility for the conduct that led to the discipline, and has completed her criminal probation. She's had some compliance issues with the board's program as far as the missed check-ins, but she does not appear to have any missed tests, and most importantly, there have been no positive tests in the last 2.5 years. Other than those missed check-ins, which she has provided some explanations for, she hasn't had any other issues with compliance, and she does seem to be doing very well on probation. The pharmacist recovery program found her clinically inappropriate for the program, so it does not appear that we have an underlying addiction issue that we need to be concerned about. And her work in the field, specifically the alcohol use disorder presentations that she provides to students, demonstrates that this issue is on her radar and that she has deemed it important enough to raise awareness about it. So at this time, the people don't have any concerns with this, the board granting this petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trauma. And Ms. Bay, in a moment, I'm going to ask a kind of a technical question, which is whether this matter has been submitted. But let me explain first what that means before I officially ask the question, so you know what I'm asking. So when I ask whether the matter is submitted, what I'm asking is, do you feel that you've had a full opportunity to present all of the evidence that would be helpful to your case and to make all of the arguments that best support your position? Does that explanation make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask officially the question now. Dr. Bay, is this matter submitted?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Trauma?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. With the matter being submitted, the record is now closed. Dr. Bay, all that means is that the committee will not be receiving any more evidence at this point. It should have everything that it needs to make a decision in this matter. The board will issue a final decision at some point after today. That decision will be in written form, but it will not be issued today. So it'll just be a little while before you get that. And with that, let's go off the record. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Bay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Dr. Barker, would you like to continue to the next petition?
Hi, I think at this time it would be appropriate to take a 15-minute break, and then we'll return with the next petitioner.
All right, thank you. That sounds like a plan.
Okay, so I guess returning, 11, what is that? It's 10, like 11:05, 15. Hello, everybody. 11:10. Just check that we have everybody returning and on camera. We'll do a quick roll call. Not seem. Yep, looks like it. Okay. So let me start the roll call. Claudia Mercado.
Present.
Thank you. Jay Newell.
Public member present.
Maria Thurpa.
Present.
Nicole Tebow.
Present.
And I'm here, so we have our quorum. So I'll turn it over to the ALJ for continued petition.
Thank you, Dr. Barker. Next on our agenda is Dr. Bautista.
Right, and this is the moderator, Dr. Bautista. Can I get a quick mic and camera check? I see you. I'm not hearing any audio.
Oh, do you hear my audio now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bautista, for joining us. Could you help me pronounce your first name? Is it Jaime or is it Jamie?
Either way, Jaime or Jamie.
Okay, thank you.
Whatever you feel more comfortable with.
I'm happy to go with whatever you prefer, but thank you for letting me know. Okay, just a couple of things before we officially get started, Dr. Bautista. Let me confirm that you don't have an attorney for today. Is that right? I see you seem to be alone.
Correct.
Okay. And you are aware that you could have hired an attorney for this proceeding?
Yes.
Okay. And you have chosen to represent yourself today. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And let me confirm also, do you have any additional documents that you would like the committee to consider today besides what you've already submitted?
No.
Okay. Thank you for confirming that. And let me tell you kind of the sequence of events for today so you're aware. We are here on a petition that you have filed. And generally speaking, in a hearing on a petition, the petitioner or the person making a request has the responsibility to prove that they should get the thing that they're asking for. So ordinarily, that person goes first in presenting the evidence. However, in this case, I will ask the Deputy Attorney General, Ms. Trauma, to present first, and that is really to give the committee and me a broad overview of your licensure so far and what got you to this point now where you are filing this petition. So you will go second, Dr. Bautista, but I want you to be aware that although you're going second, you still have that responsibility to prove that you should get what you are asking for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And do you have any questions before we begin?
No.
All right. Then let us begin. We are on the record before the Board of Pharmacy, Department of Consumer Affairs in the matter of the petition for early termination of probation of Jaime Bautista. The OAH case number is 2026050194, and the agency case number is 7448. Today is May 19th, 2026. The time is 11:14 a.m. This is the date and time set for the hearing in this matter, and we are appearing by video conference. My name is Patrice Huber. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings, or OAH, and I have been assigned to sit with a quorum of the committee sorry, it's a long name. It is the Disciplinary Petition Committee of this board. All right, at this time, I'll take the appearances of the parties, starting with Ms. Trauma.
Good morning, Deputy Attorney General Nicole Trauma, appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California under Government Code Section 11522.
Thank you, Ms. Trauma. And I know we had some informal introductions, Dr. Batista, but would you please introduce yourself now for the record?
Yes, my name is Jaime Bautista. I'm a pharmacist in California, practicing in Fresno. I currently working 40 hours.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bautista. All right, so as I indicated before we officially began, we will start with the Deputy Attorney General's presentation, and then you will go second, Dr. Bautista. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Trauma. Go ahead.
Thank you. We're here today on a petition for early termination of probation. The underlying accusation alleged petitioner's pharmacist license was subject to discipline following its February 15th, 2022 conviction for driving with a blood alcohol level of a 0.08% or higher. Petitioner stipulated to a blood alcohol content of a 0.19%. He was sentenced to 3 years probation by the criminal court. The underlying circumstances are that on August 8th of 2021, petitioner was involved in a non-injury traffic collision. Law enforcement responded to the scene and detected the smell of alcohol coming from petitioner. He had slurred speech. They conducted a field sobriety test, which he was unable to satisfactorily perform. The preliminary alcohol screening test showed he had a blood alcohol content of 0.24%, and he was arrested. He chose to take a breath test after his arrest, the results of which were 0.25%. Effective October 5th of 2023, petitioner's pharmacist license was revoked. The revocation was stayed. He was placed on probation for 5 years. To date, petitioner has been compliant with quarterly reporting, payment of the board costs in the amount of $3,991.25, payment of probation monitoring costs. He's enrolled and is participating in the Pharmacist Recovery Program, or PRP. He is submitted to random drug and alcohol testing. He's compliant with the prescription coordination and monitoring of prescription use. He's attended group recovery and supported meetings. He's attended substance abuse recovery relapse prevention. He has a worksite monitor, and he provided a criminal probation report. That particular term, the criminal probation reports, was completed on February 18th of 2024. As part of the decision and order, petitioner has to work a minimum of 80 hours per calendar month, or his probation will be extended or tolled. His probation was tolled for a period of 5 months for not meeting that work requirement, and its anticipated end of probation is now March 4th of 2029. Petitioner has filed a petition for early termination of probation, and included with his petition were 5 letters of recommendation verified by board staff. He submitted written responses to the board, coursework, CE transcripts, and certificates of completion. Exhibit 1 is the petition packet, which includes those documents, as well as the notice of hearing, the agreement to electronic recording, the license history certification, the memorandum to the board, and the underlying decision and order. The board members and petitioner have been provided with a copy of the same set of exhibits, and the redacted petition packet has been uploaded to Case Center. The entire packet is base labeled AGO 001 through 076. It's a total of 76 pages. At this time, we'll request that that be marked and admitted into evidence.
All right, Ms. Trauma. Dr. Bautista, let me first confirm you have a copy of this packet, Exhibit 1, as Ms. Trauma just described?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had a chance to review that packet of documents?
Yes, I have.
All right. Do you have any objection to the committee considering this packet as part of the evidence in this matter?
No.
Thank you. Exhibit 1 is admitted.
Thank you. It is now petitioner's opportunity to address the board, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Trauma. Dr. Bautista, did you want to speak to the committee directly to explain your petition?
Just an introduction that I got.
Okay. Well, let me swear you in first so we can consider
Sure.
what you say to be testimony. When you're ready, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Please state and spell your full name.
Jaime Bautista, Jaime, Bautista, Bautista.
Thank you, Dr. Bautista. So I will permit you to testify in what's called a narrative format. All that really means is kind of what you said. You make a statement to the committee here about what you think it should know about your case. Be aware that the committee and I do have the packet that we just discussed. So we have all of that in front of us. So there's no need to necessarily repeat what's already contained in those documents. But if there's something you would like to highlight or specifically tell us about that's within those documents, that's perfectly fine. This is the opportunity to do that, but no need to repeat what's already been stated. Also be aware that after you give your narrative testimony or your statement, you might receive questions afterward. I will ask Ms. Trauma whether she has questions for you, and then I will turn to the committee members to see if they might have questions for you as well. So just be prepared to do that after you give your statement. Does that make sense, Doctor?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
Yes, I just want to respectfully thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come on and just to show how I've been considered early termination based on my probation. Based on my consistent progress and accountability and rehabilitation, I've demonstrated this through my discipline through the board. I fully accepted the responsibilities for my actions and understanding the seriousness of the incident to my probation. Since this time, I've committed myself meaningful and lastly changes to my recovery. I've been monitored, compliance, personal growth, everything's been involved, and I've been very positive in showing and demonstrating that that everything's been done correctly. The process straightened my awareness of responsibility as not just as a pharmacist, but for the public. I take this experience seriously. I am grateful for the opportunity to demonstrate my rehabilitation. I have worked hard to rebuild trust and ensure that the practice, safety, and responsibility comes from me. I remain committed to my recovery, my profession, and for the public, and uphold the standards expected as a pharmacist.
Thank you, Dr. Bautista. Ms. Trauma, any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Dr. Bautista, you were placed on the board's probationary program on October 5th, 2023, correct?
Correct.
And that was a 5-year term, correct?
Yes.
Part of your probation is to participate in the pharmacist recovery program. Is that right?
Yes.
And you joined that program in September of 2023. Is that right?
Yes.
So you actually started that program before the effective date of your probation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now you've been in that program for a little more than 2.5 years. Is that right?
Yes. I'm still continuing with the program.
How important has PRP been in your recovery process?
The therapy has really helped me out a lot. It's just not only demonstrated me, but it gave me a lot of knowledge and a lot of learning techniques on recovering through my recoveries, being sober and being recovered. I've formally have seen that I've taken full responsibility on a lot of things based on these meetings. And these meetings have helped me very much just learning structural processes of being able to see that there is forms to rebuild on my recovery.
Do you think that you would be where you are today with your journey towards sobriety without that PRP program?
Oh, yes. Looking back, I've seen the seriousness in the diseases, the seriousness and the dangerous that I've caused by this incident and by drinking. And I've seen that alcohol, by going to these meetings and programs, I've seen how alcohol basically has been very unhealthy and it continues to be unhealthy. That's why I don't drink no more. I can continue with my recovery, and it's going to continue with the recovery. Even without probation, I'm going to continue going on and with my sobriety. And it's also helped me with these meetings also too, is that it's helped me realize to minimize areas of where alcohol's involved, or I just don't stay away from, physically and mentally.
Now, you've been totally compliant with the requirements of that PRP has asked you to comply with. Is that right?
Yes.
And you've had no positive tests for drugs or alcohol?
No, I'm completely abstinent from it.
Okay. Where are you in the program as far as PRP is concerned?
I'm just going once a week now. I'm pretty much, they're just waiting for me to hear from me when I'm completed the program, but I'm going to continue going to these programs. I asked the coordinator if I could come in and still come to these meetings once a week, just for my own personal sobriety and my recovery. Because I think this is really helps me out on my recovery. That's why I do a lot of the AA meetings. I know I'm only down to 3 that I'm supposed to show to the board that I have to go, but I go more than 3. I go usually 4 to 5 meetings on the AA meetings, just because it shows not only for myself, but it shows others that it's not an easy task going through sobriety, and recovery is very hard, especially with alcohol. Being such an open drug around us all the time. I mean, we see it in televisions. We see it in liquor stores around us, just leaving the neighborhoods. It's very hard. And it's for somebody that's not have certain programs such as AA and recovery health programs, it really, I think it hinders them from not being able to expose that there is help out there. And then there is help as far as somebody that is, going back to relapsing.
So back to the question regarding the pharmacist recovery program, how much longer until you are completed that program?
I don't have an exact time. I'm just waiting for Premier to tell me. I'm in the transition phase of Premier telling me that I'm pretty much completed. It could be any month, it can be any week. They're just waiting. I'm just waiting for Premier to tell me that I'm completed from going through these recovery programs.
Okay, so
Professional recovery.
you are in the transition phase of the program?
I am in the transition phase, yes.
When did you go into the transition phase?
I started the transition phase at the beginning of this year.
Okay, and is that normally,
2020.
pardon me, is that normally a year of transition?
I'm not currently, from what I understood, it just depends on the Premier.
Okay, can you
Because
explain what the
I've been told different things. I've told, yes, you're completed, you're going to be completing your transition phase. And then some I get that I'm still doing the transition phase. So I don't have an exact date.
Okay, can you explain what the purpose of the transition phase is?
Well, the purpose of the transition phase is to allowing you to move forward, to be independent from going to these AA courses, testing, continuing testing from what I've gathered.
So less formal requirements and more of an unrestricted kind of
Yes,
to allow you to transition into what it would be like without any requirements. Is that right?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if your probation is terminated early, is it your intention to finish the program, finish transition, complete PRP?
Oh, yes, yes. And this is not the ending for me. It's a lifestyle change for me. It's going to continue going on. I'm still going to go to AA meetings, and I'm still going to be going to these professional meetings at least once a week.
And what is your date of sobriety?
My date of sobriety is July of 2023.
Okay. Now your arrest was in August of 2021. Is that correct?
That's what I was put on paper, but I literally stopped July 28th of 2023.
Got it. Do you believe that you have an alcohol use disorder or an addiction to alcohol?
I know it's a very serious and dangerous problem, alcohol. And alcohol it does bad to the health. And that's why I've committed myself to recovery. So I don't go back to drinking alcohol during my time off from work, where I'm going to these golf, exhibits with my friends and stuff. And I've decided to just continue my recovery.
You know, in your statement that was attached to the petition, you mentioned participating in several recovery programs that helped you develop healthier coping strategies. What are the healthier coping strategies that you developed?
The healthy program, it's going to AA meetings, exercising. I do swim. Um, I have a sponsor I communicate daily with every morning. We text each other every morning. We have a prevention plan. If I ever decided to relapse, I have a prevention plan in check, ready in case anybody, if something would ever come up to a sense where I was pressure or urge to drink, I got people I can call and rely on, especially my sponsor and my family members.
Have you had to implement that prevention plan in the last few years?
No, I've not. I've had no desire. I think this has been a turning point in my life, and I've accepted it. And I'm going with a new change of my life of just continuing my recovery and staying and minimizing my areas where alcohol is involved. You know, as far as pharmaceutical dinners, where I go and I drink water instead of having 2 glasses of wine or a glass of wine.
And you are off your criminal probation, correct?
Yes.
And can you explain why you want to be released from the board's probation program early?
Well, I came to figure out that I don't need the board to be setting rules now. I pretty much do them myself. I came to the realization earlier in my recovery that I was doing things on my own for personal growth versus having something that is been for me to be doing it strictly for the board. It was something that I was just doing myself, and I realized that I'm doing it myself and not having the board telling me, setting these what would you say, setting these rules that you have to follow to obey to continue your probation in order. So I've realized that personally I've been doing them on my own, and it's a lifestyle change, and it's
Do you
a
have
good
concerns?
lifestyle change.
Pardon me. Do you have concerns at all about relapsing if you are let off probation?
No, not at all. I'm secured with my current status of recovery, of going to AA meetings, being positive. I'm motivated. I think I'm at the age of my life where I'm ready to move forward for a change. And this change has been very good. And this change happened to me. It wasn't I think this whole process wasn't so much for my license, my pharmacy license. It started to make a big change for myself as a person for health reasons and to be a better person.
I understand. Now, just one clarifying question. You had indicated that you started transition in January of this year?
I started in transition. Yes.
Okay. When were you notified by PRP that you were going to be entering the transition program or phase of the program?
It was October of last year. It was October of last year I was told, but I guess the person that told me left the program, that I was ready for transition and I was going to go through transition. And it was
Okay.
through Premier. It was through Premier. And so I started gathering all my material together to formally, once I hit, the 2 years, I can go into transition.
Okay. And do you happen to know the date in January that you entered the transition phase?
I don't have the exact dates with me currently, no.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you, Ms. Trauma. Let me now turn to the committee. Dr. Barker, any questions?
Hi, thank you. I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you. Thank you for coming before the committee.
Thank you. Dr. Serpa, any questions?
Thank you. No questions.
Thank you. Mr. Newell, any questions?
Thank you. No questions.
Thank you. Dr. Tebow, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, Ms. Mercado, any questions?
Hi, Jaime. Thank you for being here. I know
Yes.
really briefly, can you just tell us again, where do you see yourself in the profession of pharmacy in the long term?
But I see myself practicing in an independent pharmacy in a rural community. I see myself, I'm bilingual, bicultural, and I do help. I like to help out people in areas of underserved areas. I feel there's a need of pharmacists in these areas where it's underserved. And I'm the perfect person to be there to serve for them and to be their pharmacist and their doctor and to be trustworthy. And
And
that's why I decided to make alcohol no more in my life. I decided to become recovery is my way of living and sobriety is my way of living.
that's great. And regardless of, how we decide today, there is people watching our meeting. There's about 33 attendees. Any message based on what you've learned from this experience as a takeaway for those watching this meeting today? And you can make it brief. Thank you, Jaime.
Yeah, I recognize that your relationship with alcohol can be very unhealthy, very, very unhealthy. And we need to take these matters seriously. Uh, Alcohol is not just an epidemic, but it's a pandemic, and it does exist just because it's so freely opened. It's open in our commercials. It's open in our movies. It always shows this perfect person drinking alcohol. It's around us daily, and the more we informed our people of the exposure of alcohol can lead to problems, such in my case of an accident or even a trauma as far as furthering killing somebody. It's happening every day, every weekend. Every weekend I see this on television where somebody's getting hit by a drunk driver. And drinking and driving is unacceptable.
So,
And I've taken this accountability to be an example of a person that drank and drove when I could have used other methods of transportation such as Uber and stuff like that.
okay. Well, it sounds to me that, everybody that's licensed, has responsibility to, look after their actions and also protect the public. So thank you for your time and thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mercado. Dr. Batista, anything else you'd like to share with the committee at this time?
I just want to thank all you guys for giving me the opportunity once again to being able to come up to the board and to be here with the board and to share that my experiences as a pharmacist is it's been great. I love my profession. I love what I do. I take it very seriously when I tend to do something, and that was to be a proven good citizen, a good professional, and to be a service for our public and a safety to our public.
Thank you, Dr. Batista. Ms. Trauma, any last remarks?
Yes, Your Honor. Petitioner has been compliant with the terms and conditions of probation and appears to have really embraced the new sober lifestyle, having put a lot of work into those recovery programs. It does appear that the pharmacist recovery program has been a big impact on petitioner and it's helped him maintain his sobriety. If he had already completed the program, the people wouldn't have much concern about granting this petition. However, he hasn't finished it yet. He indicates that he started transition, but we don't have any documentation to reflect that he's part of that phase of the program. And even if he had started transition in January of 2026, he needs to be able to complete that transition phase. Transition is a really important step for participants to go through. It helps them move from structured supervision to really independent living and ensures that they don't have any relapses in that process. So if probation terminates, there would be no mandatory requirement that he complete the PRP program. So the people submit that it is in the best interest of the public to have petitioner complete PRP before terminating his probation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Trauma. Dr. Batista, in a moment, I'm going to ask you kind of a technical question, and that question is this matter submitted? Before I ask you it officially, let me explain what it means first so that you understand the question that I'm asking you. So when I ask you, is the matter submitted, what I'm asking is this. Do you feel that you've had a full opportunity to present all of the evidence that is helpful to your case, to your petition? And do you feel that you've had a full opportunity to present the best arguments that support your position in this case? Does that explanation make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So let me officially ask you the question, is this matter submitted, doctor?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Trauma?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, with the matter being submitted, the record is now closed. What that means, Dr. Batista, is that the committee and the board will not be accepting any additional evidence at this point. It should have everything that it needs to make a decision in this matter. The committee will deliberate at some point today, but the decision, the final decision, which will be written, will not be issued until a later date. So that will not be today. It'll be a little while until you get that final outcome. All right. Thank you, everybody. With that, we are off the record. All right. Thank you, Dr. Bautista.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Dr. Barker, did you want to proceed to the last petition or did you want to take a break? I'll leave it to you.
Unless there's any requests, I think we could progress to the next petitioner.
All right. In that case, let's go to our last petition on the agenda, which is, I think, Dr. Patel.
All right, and this is the moderator, Dr. Patel. May I get a quick mic and video check?
Hello, I don't see me on the, I did start the video.
I do see your camera on and I am able to hear you. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank
Can
you for
you all
joining
hear
us,
me?
Dr. Patel. And let me just confirm a couple of things before we officially get started here. It looks like you are appearing by yourself. Is that right? You don't have an attorney for today?
Correct.
Okay. And you are aware that you could have hired an attorney at your own expense for today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have chosen to represent yourself for this hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for confirming that. And let me also ask, do you have any additional documents besides the ones you've already submitted for this committee to review?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. And the last thing I want to tell you about is kind of the sequence of events for the hearing. We are here on your petition, and what that means is you have the responsibility as the petitioner to prove that you should get whatever it is that you are asking for. And ordinarily in hearings, the petitioner or the person making the request goes first in presenting the evidence, and that's because they have that responsibility. However, I will be asking Ms. Trauma, the Deputy Attorney General, to go first in presentation of the evidence, and that is to give the committee and me kind of an overview of your licensure so far and what brought you now to this point where you are filing this petition. And then you will go second, Dr. Patel. But I just want you to be aware that although you're going second, you still bear that responsibility of proving that you should get what you are seeking today. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right, thank you. Okay, then let us get started. Well, actually, before we do, can I have you confirm, Dr. Patel, how to pronounce your middle name?
It's Malay.
Malay, thank you.
Yes.
All right, so let's go
Your
on the
Honor,
record. Yes.
Before we go on the record, I actually cannot see the petitioner. I don't know if there's any other individuals who are having trouble seeing her.
This is the moderator. I did get a message from staff that her video is not showing. However, she is showing for me. So I'm not quite sure what the issue might be.
I see her as well. Do we want to try some troubleshooting before we officially begin? Do the committee members see Dr. Patel? I'm seeing nodding heads.
Well, so long as they can see her, then they're the decision makers.
Okay, if you're comfortable with that, Ms. Trauma, then we'll get started. All right. We are on the record before the Board of Pharmacy, Department of Consumer Affairs, in the matter of the petition for early termination of probation of Purva Malay Patel. The agency case number is 7113 and the OAH case number is 2026050196. Today is May 19th, 2026. The time is 11:47 a.m. This is the date and time set for the hearing in this matter, and we are appearing by video conference. My name is Patrice Huber. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings, or OAH, and I have been assigned to sit with a quorum of the Disciplinary Petition Committee of this board. At this time, I'll take the appearances of the parties, starting with Ms. Trauma.
Good morning, Deputy Attorney General Nicole Trauma, appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California under Government Code Section 11522.
Thank you, Ms. Trauma. And I know we had some informal introductions before we started the hearing, Dr. Patel, but would you please introduce yourself now for the record?
Yes, my name is Purva Patel.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. All right. So as I stated before we got started, Dr. Patel, I'm going to ask Ms. Trauma to go first. You'll go second, and we'll proceed in that manner. Ms. Trauma, go ahead.
I'd like to go ahead and provide a summary of the case, and then I'll mark for identification the petition packet. We are here today on a petition for early termination of probation. The underlying accusation alleged that petitioner's pharmacist license was subject to discipline for violations of pharmacy law when petitioner was a pharmacist in charge and an owner of a doctor's choice pharmacy. Specifically, she failed to maintain accurate records of acquisition and disposition of various drugs at her pharmacy and engaged in unprofessional conduct, including moral turpitude, dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or corruption. The underlying circumstances are that between August of 2017 and August of 2020, petitioner failed to have and maintain accurate records of acquisition and disposition of dangerous drugs, as evidenced by an audit of the pharmacy that showed an inventory shortage. The accusation also alleged that petitioner acted unprofessionally by removing and or directing her staff to remove tablets or capsules from previously filled prescriptions that contained brand name medications. Although the quantity of the name brand drugs that would have been dispensed to patients had been reduced, petitioner submitted or directed pharmacy staff to submit claims for the full quantity as indicated on the prescription. The audit also revealed that petitioner removed or directed removal of the drugs before the prescriptions for the drugs were dispensed to the patient. Effective August 31st of 2022, her pharmacist license was revoked. The revocation was stayed and she was placed on probation for 5 years. To date, she has been compliant with quarterly reporting, payment of the board's costs in the amount of $16,000, payment of the probation monitoring costs. She's met the requirements to be employed for 100 hours a month. She's completed the educational courses. She completed the ethics course. She's practiced under the required level of supervision, and she paid an administrative fine to the board in the amount of $10,000. This is not the first petition that petitioner has filed. She previously filed a petition for modification of her probation, which was heard in 2024, where she had requested modification of the work requirement and supervision requirement. Effective March 1st of 2024, the board issued its decision denying that petition. She has now filed the instant petition for early termination of probation, and included with her petition are 8 letters of recommendation verified by board staff. She submitted continuing education certificate, the ethics course certificate, quarterly reports, a certificate of recognition, various photographs, a newsletter, community service and fundraising information, and proof of donation. Exhibit 1 is that entire packet that was included in her petition, as well as the notice of hearing, the agreement to the electronic recording, the license history certification, the memorandum to the board, and then the underlying decision in order, as well as the decision from her first petition hearing. The board members and petitioner have been provided with the same set of documents. The redacted packet has been uploaded to Case Center. The entire packet is dates labeled AGO 001 through AGO 184. It's a total of 184 pages. and at this time will request that it be marked and admitted into evidence.
All right, thank you, Ms. Trauma. Dr. Patel, let me first confirm, do you have a copy of this 184-page packet that was just described by Ms. Trauma?
Yes, I do.
Okay, have you had a chance to review that packet?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any objection to the committee and the board considering this packet as part of the evidence in this matter?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Exhibit 1 is admitted. Anything else, Ms. Trauma?
No, Your Honor, it's now petitioner's opportunity to address the board.
All right, thank you. Dr. Patel, it's now your turn to present your evidence. Did you want to speak directly to the committee about your petition?
Yes, please.
Okay, and let me swear you in before you start doing that. Please raise your right hand when you're ready. Thank you. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Please state and spell your full name.
Purva Patel, P-U-R-V-A, Patel, P-A-T-E-L.
All right, thank you, Dr. Patel. I'll permit you to testify in what's called a narrative format, which is really just you tell us what's on your mind and what you think that we should know about your petition. Be aware that the committee does have a copy of the entire packet that we've just discussed, and so there's no need necessarily to repeat what's already contained in the packet. But if you would like to highlight anything or emphasize anything specific, this would be a good opportunity to do that. Also be aware that after you give your narrative testimony, you might get some questions. Ms. Trauma might have questions for you, and then the committee members might also have questions for you. So just be aware of that as you give your testimony. Any questions before you start, Dr. Patel?
No.
All right, thank you. Please go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello, and thank you for allowing the opportunity to speak today. I want to begin by saying that I understand why I'm here, and I do not take this process lightly. The past several years have been some of the most difficult and humbling years of my life. This experience has affected me not only professionally, but personally and emotionally as well. It has given me a great deal of time to reflect on my actions, my responsibilities, and the kind of person and pharmacist I want to be moving forward. Becoming a pharmacist was not something that came easily to me or was even taken for granted at all by me. I spent 6 years in pharmacy school while raising 2 very young children. When I started pharmacy school, my children were 1 and 5 years old. My husband and I did not have family nearby, so since all of our relatives are in India, so balancing school, motherhood, and family responsibility was extremely challenging. There were many sacrifices made by my entire family during those years. Not fully give to my children because I was working towards becoming a pharmacist. That is part of why this profession has always meant so much to me. I worked incredibly hard to earn this license, and I've always genuinely cared about helping people, educating patients, and serving my community. That is also why this experience has been humbling for me, because I know I fell short of the standards expected of me and the standards I expected of myself. Probation has forced me to slow down, reflect, and reevaluate how I approach pressure, responsibility, and decision-making in my everyday life. It has taught me that ethics and integrity must remain at the center of every decision, especially during difficult times. I can honestly say that this experience has changed me permanently and made me thoughtful, self-aware, and accountable both professionally and personally. Despite the challenges of probation, I've continued trying to serve others, stay involved in the profession, and grow from this experience. My passion for helping patients has never changed, and I remain deeply grateful for the opportunity to continue practicing pharmacy and contributing to the community. I respectfully ask the board to consider not only my compliance with probation, but also the personal growth, insight, and rehabilitation that have taken place over these past several years. I truly believe I've become a better pharmacist and a better person as a result of this experience. Thank you again for your time and consideration and this opportunity to appear before you today.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. Ms. Trauma, any questions?
Yes. Dr. Patel, you petitioned the board for a modification of your probation in 2024. Is that right?
Correct.
And that was to reduce the work requirement and the supervised practice requirement. Is that right?
Correct.
And the board denied your prior petition, correct?
Correct.
And what was your understanding as to why the board denied your prior petition?
I did not accept responsibility for everything that happened in my pharmacy, and I actually came forth as argumentative, and that definitely should not have been the case. That's the reason why it was denied.
Okay. And the board's decision indicated that you had questioned why you even needed to have your practice supervised at all. Do you still think that, or are you still of that opinion?
No, I was wrong at the time to say that. That shouldn't have been said.
Okay. Now, the last time you were before the board on your petition, you were disputing some of the allegations. Do you still dispute the allegations?
No, I signed a stipulated settlement with the board accepting responsibility. I'm not here to argue about it today.
Okay. Now, in your statement that was attached to your petition, you had indicated that you had a discussion with your staff about measures to ensure the survival of your practice. What did you mean by that?
It was just a difficult time where the pharmacy would have shut down because of all the losses that we were incurring. That was the discussion at that time.
Okay, so was your pharmacy struggling financially?
Yes.
Okay, and what sort of measures did you talk about with your staff to ensure survival?
They were just basic discussions as to what we could do and how we can stay afloat so the patients don't lose access to our pharmacy. A lot of different ideas as to how we can manage.
Okay, and some of that included removing capsules?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you had indicated that your motivation was not out of greed, but due to fears of bankruptcy. Can you explain that a little bit more for us?
Exactly what that says. It was not, I had never planned on becoming a millionaire or making a lot of money or anything like that. That was never my intention of opening an independent pharmacy to begin with. It was just because I could not provide the service, the care that I am capable of providing at a chain pharmacy was the only reason why I opened an independent pharmacy. I was new to the state of California and didn't really know a lot of places to open a pharmacy. There was a vacancy and I opened a pharmacy there, and I tried my best to help my patients like I've always done. It just, the way the insurance reimbursements were, it was very difficult to keep it sustainable.
Do you see yourself opening another pharmacy if you're let off probation?
I have no near-term plans of opening a pharmacy or becoming a PIC. I just want to be a staff pharmacist and be a pharmacist and do what I do best, helping my patients and taking care of them. And that's my only near-term goal right now.
Do you feel like you've changed at all since the last time that you were before the board in 2024?
Tremendously. I have, and I'm sure you can see that as well as to how I answered questions back then and how I'm answering questions today. I'm taking responsibility, and this provision has truly changed me for the better.
In what way has probation helped you to become a better pharmacist or practitioner?
It has helped me to slow down, think it has helped me to focus on making decisions not based on circumstances or difficulties in life. It has changed me to actually make sure that ethics are at the core of every decision that I make. It's constantly there in the back of my mind, wherever I go, whatever I do as a pharmacist, or when I'm not working in the pharmacy. It's just taught me that under no circumstances should ethics be compromised. I have to live up to my own values.
Now you do quite a bit of work in your community. Do you see yourself continuing with that community work in the future?
Yes, I have always done it even before I became a pharmacist. That is just something I've always done and I will continue to do.
Okay. Why do you want probation to end now?
I have demonstrated for over the past 3.5, 4 years what I can do with probation. Without probation, that would allow me to secure a better, proper job so I can financially help my family. Currently, we're on one income. Most of my work is volunteer work right now. So it'll be better to practice pharmacy freely without any of the probation restrictions.
And you've had no probation violations since going on probation in August of 2022, correct?
Correct.
And one of the determinations that the members are going to have to determine is whether you're safe to practice without having additional, time on probation. Why do you think you're safe to practice without terms and conditions of probation?
Because I have demonstrated that I am rehabilitated, I am taking responsibility over the past years that I have been on probation. If you look at my packet, I have done everything and anything that a board requires of their licensees, and over and above that. I just feel that I have convinced the board, I hopefully convinced the board that I'm ready to practice on my own without the restrictions.
Okay, thank you. No further questions from me.
All right, thank you, Ms. Rama. And let me now turn to the committee. Dr. Barker, any questions?
Hello, Dr. Patel. I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Serpa, any questions? I saw your lips move, Dr. Serpa, but I didn't catch your audio. Would you repeat your answer, please?
Yeah, thank you. No questions.
Thank you. Mr. Newell, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Tebow, any questions?
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mercado, any questions?
No, I'm all set. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Let me now turn back to Dr. Patel. Dr. Patel, anything additional you'd like to tell the committee while you have their attention?
Just a couple of sentences. In November of 2022, I accepted discipline for failures in my pharmacy that were my responsibility as a PICN owner. When I came before this board in December 2023, I was still arguing about it, and I should not have been. The 3.5 years since have taught me that the work of probation is not to relitigate the past. It is to take full responsibility for it. I have done that. Sorry. My compliance is documented. And I'm asking the board to terminate the remainder of my probation by looking at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. Ms. Trauma, any last remarks?
The teacher has been compliant with her probation. Unlike the last time that she was here, she appears to be very remorseful, taking personal responsibility for her conduct. The people don't have any concerns about this petition.
Thank you, Ms. Trauma. Dr. Patel, in a moment, I'm going to ask a technical question. Let me explain what it means before I ask it so you understand what I'm asking you. That question is this matter submitted? And when I ask that question, this is what I'm really curious about. Do you feel that you've had a full opportunity to present all of the evidence that best helps your petition? And do you feel that you've had a full opportunity to make all of the arguments that best support that position that you have? Does that make sense as an explanation, Dr. Patel?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so let me ask the question officially. Is the matter submitted?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Trauma?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. With the matter being submitted, the record is now closed. Dr. Patel, what that means is the board will not be accepting any additional evidence at this point. It should have everything that it needs to make a decision in this matter. And the committee will deliberate today about your petition, but that final decision, which will be written, will not be issued until at some point after today. So just be on the lookout for that. All right.
Sure.
Thank you, everybody. With that, we are off the record. Thank you, Dr. Patel.
Thank you.
All right, and that concludes the 4 petitions on the agenda. I turn it back over to Madam Chair, Dr. Barker.
Thank you. This is, I guess, agenda item 4, closed session. So I'd like to thank the members of the public for your participation today. And as indicated on the agenda, the committee will now convene in closed session to deliberate on the petition. Adjournment for the day will immediately follow closed session, and there will be no other items of business discussed. Adjournment may not be broadcast on live stream. Members of the public, thank you for joining the meeting today.